Good morning. Hi, this is Travis from the National Weather Service, and this is your weather hazard briefing for Monday, July 22nd. Looking at the current water vapor imaging, we see we have high pressure ridging just off to our east. That's going to allow for quite a bit of heating over our area. It was quite warm yesterday, a couple degrees above normal, and we're looking 5 to 10, maybe a little bit more than that, 8 to 12 degrees above normal today. Across our area, and that's going to be the biggest widespread impact, and I'll go into more details here in a minute. But we do have moisture, tropical moisture, monsoon moisture making it up from our south, and that's going to move into our area, particularly our kind of northern areas for our fire weather concerns. And we do have a red flag out for 475 for scattered thunderstorms. The biggest impact there is just going to be it's going to be so dry down below that a lot of these thunderstorms will be dry in nature, and any lightning that occurs could easily start new fires. And then we'll have some gusty outflow winds with those as well, up to 40 to 50 miles an hour outflow winds with any thunderstorms that occur today. Looking at our GFS model short term, you can see that it's actually showing thunderstorms over our northern area, high pressure kind of moving to the east, and then continued thunderstorms as we go into Tuesday. You can see we have a good isolated scattered thunderstorms across the northern areas, and that does extend across a lot of areas as well. We do have a boundary moving through Wednesday, a cold front that will drive that moisture away and high pressure ridging, and will be cooler conditions. And I'll go into details here in a minute as well. Also give us better RHs. Our relative humidity will rise as well. So here's our hazards for today. We do have a heat advisory out for a lot of our areas. Our southern and most western areas of the Snake River Plain and the eastern Magic Valley and our Southern Highlands. And then we do have our red flag out again for zone 475, extending Stanley northward. Again, that's for scattered thunderstorms, dry in nature mostly, and again, we'll have some gusty outflow winds with any thunderstorms that occur today. And as looking at our weather story, you can see here, just to reiterate, the heat risk, all those areas in orange and red. It's going to be very hot. You can see here our temperatures across the area listed here as well. Will likely be the hottest day of the year so far, very likely, and that will continue also into Tuesday. And I'll show you those temperatures. As far as our surface map, we are dominated by high pressure down low. You can see that trough off to our west. It did produce quite a bit of thunderstorms yesterday. They were mostly light, dry. They produced a lot of lightning, very little wetting rain with them, and a lot of that rain did not reach the ground. And so we're going to be seeing this area up in here north of Stanley as far as the biggest impact for today. There will be some isolated thunderstorms just north of Ketchum as well, and then also some near Chalice, very isolated in nature. And as far as the look of our NAM 12, the NAM shows a little bit better than the GFS model I showed earlier. You can see this is fire weather zone 475, and showing a good portion of that zone getting thunderstorms later this afternoon. Anywhere from prime time will be from around 2 to 7, but the warning is out from 12 to 9 p.m. as far as the red flag warning for 475. As far as our max temperature today, again, that's going to be a really big impact. You can see temperatures ranging well in the 90s across all the areas, Southern Highlands, eastern Magic Valley, and Snake River Plain. And then all the valleys elsewhere are certainly in the upper 80s to 90s across the area. Our min RH is quite low, 10 in a lot of these areas, well below the 15% critical values in a lot of valleys, the majority across the area. And then as far as our wind gust, again, we mentioned that little trough that was off, and as it moves in, we're not looking for major winds. We are looking for that, gust of near 20 to 25 for ridge stops, mainly across our northern areas. You can see other areas across, we'll also see those gusts at 20 to 25 as well. As far as our surface map is concerned for Tuesday, we continue to high pressure, although we do have, you can see that trough of tropical moisture kind of does make into our area. The better scattered thunderstorms will be across this area, so we're again looking for a chance of scattered thunderstorms. We do have a fire weather watch out for zone 422. I'll show that here in a second, for scattered thunderstorms for Tuesday, and potentially 475 and 476 could be added into that. And then with this trough as it goes across, it's not showing it very well because it's fairly dry. Looking at isolated thunderstorms pretty much everywhere else, that maybe Bear Lake and area, just this little corner here, may not see anything on Tuesday, but everywhere else should. And there's for hazards, we're looking at that fire weather watch for scattered thunderstorms for Tuesday for zone 422, our fire weather zone 422. And here is the pops. You can see they're pretty good across the central mountains. And then not quite so much across the rest of the area, but here's that lower area that I mentioned across Bear Lake. The mountains across here will pretty sure get to get some isolated thunderstorms on Tuesday, particularly in the afternoon. As far as our max temperatures on Tuesday, you see they continue to be quite warm in the 90s, off a couple of degrees from what we saw earlier. Mainly that's just the amount of cloud cover. And as far as I'm in relative humidity, it doesn't get a little bit better, particularly in our northern areas, but still below our critical values of 15% in the valleys across Snake River Plain and Southern Highlands. Our wind gusts do pick up a little bit at ahead of that cold front that's going to move through Wednesday morning. It's a dry cold front, and you can see they start to pick up, particularly our northern areas, the central mountains, those critical values. And then as we go into we have that dry cold front moving through Wednesday morning. We'll bring some quite breezy conditions, but I just want to mention Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, as that cold front goes through, we are looking at some isolated thunderstorms and showers overnight as well. And as far as our max temperatures on Wednesday, they do drop off to near normal across most of the area. And then our min relative humidity does improve in general across the whole area, but there are some areas near that 15% of critical values. And then our wind gusts pick up quite significantly on Wednesday as that dry cold front comes through. Critical winds all in these areas here across most of the area. In fact, almost all the area has critical winds. Again, the NRH is not critical, maybe with the exception of the northwest portion of zone 410. So that may be the only one to consider for a red flag. And as far as GFS long term, you can see that here is on Thursday, we have weak high pressure ridging building in, bring back a slightly warmer, but then we do have moisture coming up from our south Friday afternoon. The potential for thunderstorms again, particularly as a little trough goes through. And then as you go into Sunday, there's another little trough that goes through, keeping the winds quite a little bit breezy on those days, as I mentioned. If you have any questions, give us a call here at this number, and that concludes the brief. Thanks.